Did you know that the ultra-wealthy control nearly 40% of the world's wealth, while more than 50% of Americans are worried about their retirement savings? Shocking, right? Most people believe their retirement funds are safe and secure, but in reality, they are a gold mine for the rich. Every year, billions of dollars from everyday investors' retirement accounts flow into the pockets of the ultra-wealthy. Here's another startling fact. The average 401k fee is around 1%, but many investors pay much higher without even knowing it. Over a lifetime, these fees can steal up to $200,000 from your savings. What if I told you that those fees help the rich make even more money while you struggle to save for your future? In this video, we'll explore how the ultra-wealthy profit from your retirement fund in ways you might never have imagined. From hidden fees and risky hedge funds to secretive tax strategies, we'll uncover the truth behind the investment world. Get ready to discover how the game is rigged and what you can do to protect your hard-earned savings. Don't miss it. Chapter 1. Hidden Fees. The ultra-wealthy's secret revenue stream. You might not notice them, but fees are everywhere in retirement accounts. These are often tucked into the fine print. And guess who benefits most from them? The ultra-wealthy. According to a report from the Center for Retirement Research, fees can eat away up to 1–2% of your investment every year. It might sound small, but it compounds over time. Over 30 years, that could mean you're losing nearly $200,000 in fees alone from a typical 401k account worth $500,000. The ultra-wealthy? They love this. They're not just making money from the funds, they're making money from managing your money. The more you invest, the more they profit through these invisible charges. As author Helene Allen writes in Pound Foolish, there are only two groups that benefit from your fees: the people who charge them and the people who collect them. Here's the real kicker. Those who have access to private wealth management rarely pay the same fees you do. Instead, they negotiate far lower costs due to their enormous assets. Meanwhile, the average investor faces a constant slow drain. Fees are structured in a way that seems insignificant, but in reality, they're huge profit centers for financial firms. Chapter 2. The Power of Leverage. How hedge funds play with your retirement. Hedge funds sound like something far removed from your retirement, but they're actually deeply connected. In fact, a significant portion of pension funds are invested in hedge funds. A report by Prekin showed that around 40% of hedge fund capital comes from institutional investors like pension funds. What does this mean? Your retirement money is being used in some of the most speculative and risky financial strategies. Hedge funds often rely on leverage, which means they're borrowing money to amplify their bets. This can produce huge returns, but it also creates massive risks. While the ultra-wealthy enjoy the gains, your pension fund could be on the hook if those bets go south. In 2008, for instance, hedge funds lost an average of 18%, wiping out a huge chunk of retirement savings for ordinary people. The ultra-wealthy aren't as worried. Many of them have direct access to hedge funds and can pull out their money quickly if things start to turn sour. You, however, are tied into these pension funds, which often don't have the same flexibility. When the market crashes, guess whose money is stuck? Yours. Billionaire Warren Buffett famously said, "When the tide goes out, you see who's been swimming naked." Often, it's the everyday retirement investors left exposed, while hedge funds move on to their next high-risk, high-reward play. Chapter 3. Mutual funds versus private equity. Two worlds, one winner. If you're saving for retirement, chances are you're invested in mutual funds. They're marketed as safe and diversified. But the ultra-wealthy prefer private equity, a different beast altogether. Here's the catch. Regular investors can't access private equity funds. According to McKinsey, the global private equity market grew to $7.2 trillion in 2021, fueled by wealthy individuals and institutions. These funds are known for delivering outsized returns, often 20% or more, while mutual funds struggle to reach 8%. Why can't you get in on this action? Private equity is closed to most investors. You need millions to even get a seat at the table. The rich are getting richer because they have access to these high-return opportunities, while the rest of us are stuck with lower-yield, publicly available investments. Even more interesting is that private equity firms often use retirement funds to finance their operations. So, your money might be helping private equity firms make billions, but you don't get to share in those gains directly. It's like you're providing the fuel, but they're driving the luxury car. Wealthy investors have found a way to profit from both sides. They get the high returns from private equity, while your retirement savings help them reach those goals. If you're finding this information eye-opening, make sure to subscribe for more insights. We'll be digging deeper into how to protect your money in this investment landscape. Chapter 4. The Pension Trap. Are your contributions fueling their gains? Pensions are often seen as one of the safest retirement vehicles. You contribute, your employer pitches in, and one day, you get a steady income. But what you may not realize is that pensions are often used to prop up corporate interests and boost profits for the ultra-wealthy. How? Pension fund managers sometimes invest heavily in companies where they have close ties. These investments might not always be the best for you, the pensioner, but they sure help corporate executives and shareholders. According to a study by Willis Towers Watson, pension funds worldwide hold nearly $35 trillion in assets. That's a lot of capital that the ultra-wealthy are eager to tap into. And here's the problem. Many pension funds are underfunded, meaning they don't have enough money to cover future obligations. In 2021, U.S. public pensions had a funding shortfall of $1.5 trillion. To fill these gaps, managers may turn to high-risk, high-reward investments, think hedge funds or private equity, hoping for a quick fix. But if these bets don't pay off, pensioners are the ones who lose. Meanwhile, wealthy investors and fund managers walk away with hefty fees, regardless of the outcome. As Nobel laureate economist Joseph Stiglitz points out, the financial system is rigged in favor of the rich and powerful. And your pension might just be another tool in their toolkit. Chapter 5. Tax havens and loopholes. How they keep your money and their separate taxes can take a significant bite out of your retirement savings. But for the ultra-wealthy? Not so much. They've mastered the art of using tax havens and loopholes to keep more of their money, while everyday investors are stuck with the full tax bill. Did you know that the ultra-wealthy hold an estimated $36 trillion in offshore accounts? That's according to the Tax Justice Network, which tracks global wealth hidden in tax havens. By using complex legal structures, shell companies, and offshore accounts, the rich can minimize, or even completely avoid, taxes on their investments. Meanwhile, the average retirement investor is hit with taxes on withdrawals from 401ks and IRAs. And here's another kicker. Most regular investors aren't even aware of the tax advantages that wealthy people use. For example, the rich often leverage carried interest loopholes, which allow them to pay capital gains tax rates, usually 15% or 20%, instead of regular income tax rates. In comparison, most people face much higher tax rates on their retirement income. As Tom Wheelwright, author of Tax-Free Wealth, puts it, if you want to get rich, you need to understand the tax code. But while the rich have tax professionals on their side, regular investors often don't know these tricks even exist. Chapter 6. Market makers. How the ultra-wealthy influence the game you play. Ever feel like the market is rigged? You're not far off. The ultra-wealthy, through their massive investments and institutional power, can sway entire markets. They're called market makers because they have enough capital to drive prices up or down, sometimes to their benefit and your detriment. For example, BlackRock, one of the world's largest asset managers, oversees over $10 trillion in assets. With that kind of money, they can heavily influence stock prices, commodities, and even interest rates. When they make big moves, the market follows. This can cause massive fluctuations that affect regular investors, even when you're simply investing through your retirement fund. Billionaire George Soros is famous for making billions by shorting the British pound in 1992, causing a financial crisis that hurt millions of regular investors. It's a stark reminder that the ultra-wealthy don't just play the market, they can shift it to their advantage. The rich also use insider information and complex financial models to get ahead. According to a report by FINRA, insider trading accounts for 20-25% of stock market activity on any given day. While most of us are reading the news and trying to keep up, the ultra-wealthy are making moves based on data we don't even have access to. To put it simply, the game is stacked. They have the power to move markets, hedge their bets, and minimize risks. Regular investors? We're often just along for the ride, reacting to their moves instead of making our own. If this information has opened your eyes, don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for more valuable insights on how to navigate the complex world of investing and protect your retirement savings.